Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Gradeup's MBA Prep channel. We have just 1 month left for XAT 2021. So today is 3rd of December. On 3rd of January, you will be writing the examination, which is just 31 days from now. So on the 31st day, you have the examination. So what to do in the next 30 days in order to crack this exam? Let me tell you that XAT is considered as the most difficult MBA entrance exam in India. So what are the things that are different in this exam? What special things that you need to do, and how can you prepare for it in the last 1 month? What are the new things that you need to cover that I'll be discussing in this session? So please share this session with your friends who are preparing for that, and if they need guidance on how to prepare for that. So, when it comes to MBA entrance examinations in India, most of the aspirants they prepare for CAT. They focus only on CAT till CAT, and once they are done with CAT, then only they start preparing for other MBA examinations. So if we talk about the general trend, you have CAT, and then except this year, 1 week after CAT, you have IIFT. So people spend that week preparing for IIFT and then start preparing for XAT. However, this year the scenario is different. IIFT is going to be conducted in January end, so you have an advantage that you can prepare for XAT first. That extra 1 week you get, plus then you will have enough time to prepare for IIFT as well. So let us see, let us compare that with other MBA examinations, how it is different, how challenging it is, what are the colleges that you can get through it, and all those information, what are the cutoffs and all. Okay. So if we talk about that, okay, if CAT is difficult, then that is obviously ultra difficult, right? That is much more difficult than CAT. Okay, so if you think that CAT was difficult, that is going to be even more difficult. So be prepared for it. It's not a cakewalk. It's and unlike CAT, where you may find some of the questions as easy, in XAT you have all the questions difficult. So it's not at all not by any means easy, and very even at very low scores you are able to convert. Okay. So now let us see some facts about XAT. How many people write XAT every year? So as I said that XAT is much more difficult than CAT, and in terms of difficulty level, okay, and in other aspects also. The number of XAT test takers is approximately 1 lakh, which is half of that of CAT aspirants. Okay, so half of the Janta is out, but that does not mean that good students are out of it, right? So half of those might include the non-serious aspirants, but it has all of those who are serious ones. Next, you know that it is conducted by XLRI Jamshedpur, okay, Xavier Labor Research Institute. There are several institutes, around 100 institutes that accept that, but these are not these all. You should not go by number. You should go by the quality of institutes, right? So you may have like some tier 2, tier 3 colleges. They might accept that scores for their admissions, but they aren't worth joining it. So the main institutes you can target through that are, of course, XLRI Jamshedpur. Then you have XIM Bhubaneswar. Then SP Jain Mumbai also considers that score as well. Apart from it takes through several scores, CAT score, Z score. Okay, so it also considers your Z score. And one good part about that, which people complain in other, like especially in CAT, people complain is there is a reservation and all those things. There is no reservation is that. Okay, so no reservation based on your of course caste system, and no reservation based on your stream and all. So if you crack the examination and you do well in the later stage, you are in. Okay, so there is no reservation. That's the biggest advantage. But again, the exam is a challenging one. And XLRI has recently started a campus in 2017 or 18. They started a new campus in NCR near Gurgaon. So it has increased the number of seats uh, in XLRI. And if we talk about the total number of seats, the number of seats in good institutes is approximately 2000. So 2000 seats for good institutes. Now talking about the XAT 2020 pattern. This was the pattern last year in XAT 2020, and if you talk about the pattern, it has remained more or less the same. Okay. If we talk about the pattern, it has around 75 to 80 questions. Okay. It varies from year to year. Last year it was 75 in the three sections which are counted and 25 in GK. Okay. SPGen CAT. Okay, so it does accept that also. IMT, yes, IMT is also one of the institutes. So I've mentioned the top 3 4 institutes. Okay, there are other institutes as well. I mean, you can get the list of all XAT institutes and you can find their rankings. These were some of the top tier institutes, right? Now, if we talk about the XAT pattern, which was in 2020, it had 75 questions. Verbal ability had 26 questions, decision making 21, and quant 21, no 28. So total 75 questions to be answered in 165 minutes. There is no sectional timing. Okay, so you had combined time of 165 minutes. Then there is a GK paper of 15 minutes, which consists of 25 questions. The thing is that GK is not counted in your percentile, right? They do not count this score in your percentile, but XAT considers a certain XLRI considers some minimum marks. Okay, so let's say out of 25, if you have some 6 7 marks or something, so they will consider those minimum marks for admission. Okay, they do not have any percentile score factor, but certain minimum marks are required in this section as well. Okay, so one thing about negative marking is negative is 1/4 for every incorrect answer. And if you do not attempt more than 8 questions, if you leave more than 8 questions unattempted, you lose 0.1 mark for every unattempted question. Okay, so this is about the marking pattern and the structure of the examination, which was last year, and it remains more or less similar. They might increase the number of questions by the number of questions might range between 70 and 80. Okay. Now talking about the features of XAT, what is special about this examination, how it is different and all. So first of all, it is one of the most difficult MBA entrance examinations. You can rate it above CAT, as I showed you in the image as well. If CAT is you rate it, like let's say you say that it's a 4-star examination, you can rate it 5. Okay, definitely more difficult than CAT, more difficult than IFT. So most difficult examination. There is a section called decision making section. Okay, I'll talk about it later as well. What is decision making section and what all preparation is needed for it. That section is unique and it is challenging as well. Okay, so even if people who score very well in CAT, for example, take my example itself. Last year I scored very well in CAT. I scored very well in other examinations, but I'm unable to crack this examination because of the decision making section. So I do not practice also, but at the end I am unable to crack this section, right? So this section requires some sincere preparation. Without that, you cannot just go and sit and crack this examination. Okay. And RCs like CAT, you have, like, again, if you compare the RCs of CAT and XAT, slightly more difficult than that of CAT. They are from different genres. You get RCs from philosophy, you get RCs from history. Okay, so all sorts of RCs, different, plus those inference-based questions, close options, everything. So if you've written CAT in 2020, you must have noticed the difficulty level. So just, I mean, you can increase it by one more level. So that is the level of your RCs. Okay. And secondly, it has non-RC questions as well, like it will ask you questions on fill in the blanks, error spotting, etc. Okay, so it has not only reading based questions but language skill questions as well. Then quant questions are very lengthy, unlike CAT, wherein you find some of the questions short, right? Not all, but some of the questions are short. Okay, but in this case, you do not have any such thing. The questions are very lengthy. See, you have more time. You have 165 minutes to solve 75 questions, 75, 76, or it may be 80. In CAT, you have 120 minutes, right? So you can imagine the level of difficulty is very high, and people scoring above 30 is considered a very good score. Okay, so cutoffs are generally around 34, 35. Okay, max, that is the cutoff. Then there is no sectional timing, which is one advantage to aspirants, because like if someone is slow in one section, then can spend more time, I mean, solving questions. And if some section is your forte, suppose you are very good at verbal, you can spend more time, give more time to verbal, solve more questions in that section. So you can adjust your scores. Unlike in CAT, you have equal timings, right? So if you are bad at English or bad at DILR, you will be scoring very low in that section, and you can maximize your score in the other sections only. But in that, you have one advantage, that let's say you have 165 minutes. You spend 30, 40 minutes in two sections, then you have around 95 to 100 minutes, okay, that you can spend on that. The way XLRI does not consider profile, okay, there is sectional cutoffs, okay. There are sectional cutoffs, RCs. If we talk about, out of 26, 14 to 15 are of RCs, and remaining 11 to 12 are non-RC. And apart from these also, some 4 or 5 questions from critical reasoning. So inference based, your assumption based, all sorts of questions are asked, and there are few questions from other topics. Okay, yes, there is sectional cutoffs. The sectional cutoffs are very low, like 5, 6, 7, I mean in single digits only. Okay, the overall cutoff is around 34, 35, not beyond that. Okay, sectional cutoffs are 5, 6, not more than that. 5, 6, maybe maximum 7. Okay, but it is not easy to score that as well. Yes, so critical reasoning is in English section itself. They call it verbal ability and logical reasoning. It has logical reasoning in the form of critical reasoning. Okay, and then you have quant questions, lengthy, and then there is a good role of accuracy. Okay, so I'll give you example of Vijay Jha. He appeared for it last year. He attempted 23 questions in verbal, got 13 correct and 10 incorrect. Still his percentile was above 99 percentile in verbal. Okay, so 99 percentile is at very high. I mean, it is around 40 marks. Okay, so if you are able to reach around 40 marks, you get 99 percentile. Okay. All right, so these are some features of XAT, that it is difficult. It has 3 different sections, which are all challenging ones. There is no sectional timing, single digit cutoff scores in sectionals. Okay. Now, one thing that you need to keep in mind if you are talking about XAT, that this is going to be the longest duration MBA entrance examination of this season. Okay. If we talk about this season, okay, you had CAT, which used to be a 3-hour exam. This year it was a 2-hour exam. So you need to keep in mind that you will have to sit for 3 hours, 3 long hours, and take this examination. So this is going to be a longest duration exam. The test of your endurance. DI not tougher than CAT. DI is simple, but quant is difficult, right? They will ask you typical questions on geometry, like area of shaded portion, speed, distance, time. They won't have straight questions. They won't have questions like that person is traveling at 40 kilometer. Like calculation based DI, they will give graphs or tables and calculation based ones. They won't ask logical DI. Okay, so that is one thing that if you have practiced DI well, maybe you can score in that. But quant questions will take time to solve. Okay, so if you are able to solve around 10 to 12 questions in quant, you get more than 99 percentile in quant. Okay, so we have Vikas Dahiya sir. He scored how many questions? 27. He got 20 out of 28. He got 27 correct. He was 99.998 percentile. He was a topper. So even at 18 percentile, you would get 99.6, 99.7 percentile in quant. Okay. So, but remember that you have to clear cutoff in all the sections. You have 3 sections. Even if you are good at quant, even if you are good at verbal, there is a section called decision making, which in itself is a challenging section. Okay. Now, what should be your strategy for the next 30 days in order to crack this examination? Okay, I mean, if you are sincere, right? Of course, you have to be sincere to crack this examination. It is not something that it is not an easy game, right? So you have to spend at least 2 hours per day on each of the sections. Maybe like quant, if you have prepared very well, you can reduce the time to 1 hour. But decision making is something that you will have to spend time on. Okay, you have to make a habit of reading stuff from the West. If you see, if you notice the passages in CAT in 2019 as well as 2020, many passages they do not appear from the Indian construct. They are always from the West, right? They will give you about some American philosophy, some scientific article, like example, there was some seal in West, right? So they will give you all science related articles, and all those things are from the West. They will give you some cultural article from Europe. Okay, they will give you some let's say economy based thing, not of Indian economy. They'll talk about some Western countries economy, right? So generally they tend to give passages from that sources. Okay, and you have to deep dive into the concepts of mathematics. Generally in CAD you can apply certain shortcuts and get you can get I mean, some shortcuts you can apply, but here mostly the questions are lengthy and it takes time to solve those questions. Okay, I would recommend that for a practice, like some of you are asking where do we get questions and all. Okay, so you will get all these past year papers. You have like last 10-year papers. You will they are easily available online. So those are a good source of practice. Okay, 10 years of papers, and if you have subscribed to some test series, a good test series, they would be giving you at least 5 mocks. So that should be enough, right? If you attempt like 15 papers, that should be a very good indication to practice for this examination. Okay, and if I talk about the sectional cutoffs and all, you should target at least 7 to 8 questions per section. Okay, try to target these many questions, because that would ensure that you have some you maintain sectional cutoffs, right? If you get some 7 to 8 questions correct, and let's say like your quant is strong, right? Maybe your quant is very strong, you are not that good at verbal, but at least try to do let's say one passage plus some more miscellaneous questions, or 2 passages, maybe around 8 to 10 questions you get in verbal, some in decision making. Okay, in decision making, the accuracy, the chances of accuracy is very, getting high accuracy is very less. Okay, so try to attempt like some 14-15 questions in that section, maybe with 80% accuracy, 70 to 80%, and then try to maximize your score in quant, because sectional cutoffs are not very high, But if you score good in one of the sections, your overall score will be very high. Okay, and do special preparation for decision making. So I'll be telling you what is decision making and what do they give in it. Generally, last year, if we talk about, there were 21 questions in decision making, seven sets of seven situation based sets, and three questions per set. So I'll give you one example of a question, right? So these could be based on ethics, based on generally there you have to decide as a right method, and sometimes uh, these questions are contradictory as well. The solutions which they give, some people disagree with them, but you have to accept that, right? So you have to give the best possible solution. For example, they would give the scenario of some, let's say there's a kingdom which has one town and a village. Okay, so the village supplies items to towns, and all of a sudden the villagers realize that they are not getting enough money. Okay, so as the king, what would you do? Some situations, or there was one case last year that there are three interns who are interning in a company, and each of them are aspiring to get the PPO from that company, right? And then some conditions given that one person asks for help from the other person, what that person should do, should he or she help her or not? So different cases, different scenarios. Like some person applied for job. Okay, now that company is offering him a higher pay package, but his job is not, is very far away from his hometown. So they will give you a passage. Okay, you will have to read the passage and uh, quote exactly the same things that are stated in the passage to solve those questions. Okay. If I talk about quant section of that, you have to focus on geometry. Last year, I remember there were 6, 7 questions on geometry. Okay, geometry, mensuration, of course, arithmetic, algebra. So again, these three things: arithmetic, algebra, geometry. Here you have good number of questions from permutation, combination, and number system as well. So all are equally important. Unlike in CAT, where we have been seeing the trend that arithmetic is dominating, here you do not see that dominance. Okay, so here geometry dominates arithmetic. In fact, for the past few years, if you can see the trend, but keep at least two to three good points. Like let's say geometry, arithmetic, and maybe modern maths or number system, right? So keep 2, 3 topics in which you are comfortable with. Okay, so even if you, and of course DI, if you have done CAT level DI, if you have sincerely prepared DI, DI should not be a difficult part for you. Okay, so DI is calculation based, approximation, those percentage related things and all, right? It is not very difficult. It's not that logical DI that you get in CAT. So DI is something that is doable. You have around 2 sets of DI. Okay, so this was about certain strategy and how much practice do you need? Okay, so if we talk about this practice thing, that as I said, you need to take 10 previous year papers. Okay, that's the that's the maximum you can do, plus 5 mocks. Okay, so every alternate day, you have 30 days, 15 days you can spend on taking these tests, and 15 days on preparation. So if you take 15 tests, right, if you sincerely take, then no one can stop you from cracking this examination, because the more practice you have, the more familiar you are with the examination pattern, the well defined is your strategy, and then you can definitely crack the examination, right? So if you have this if you are quite serious, okay, if you want it badly, so I am sure that you will do that, right? So every alternate day, try to take a test, 10 previous year papers, and maybe you get, even if you do not subscribe to any mock test or something, you still have 10 previous year papers. That also should be a good enough measure to prepare yourself. And 3 hours will obviously go in taking the test, plus 4 hours of deep analysis. So you can keep one day for studies and the other day for taking these tests. So maybe after four, five, six tests, you will feel acquainted with the pattern, and you shall be able to you shall see a drastic change in your scores, right? You will see that okay, your scores are rising, you are doing better than what you were in the beginning. Okay, so that will definitely help you. CAT response sheet, no idea. I think it has been postponed. There is no official news as such, but we think that that has been postponed. So whenever it is released, we'll let you know. Okay. Now, what is the X factor in this? Like, what is something which is unique for this examination, which no other examination has? What is that factor in this examination? I'm sure you know that. The decision making section. Okay. Decision making, as I said, it is something which is unique. You need to practice some good number of questions from this topic because it is something that which no other examination has. You won't get too many questions, right? And like if you have uh, like done some questions, solved past year papers, that should give you an idea, right? That will develop your ability. Okay, because every year you will get a new kind of sets, right? But if you have practiced a few sets from the past, that will help you develop that aptitude, how to approach those questions. Okay, so if I talk about the sources of preparation, okay, what all sources you can refer to in order to prepare for different sections. Okay, so Nikhil, GK section is not something that you must you must ignore, but at the same time GK section is not in your percentile calculator, right? So you can just do some static read some static GK. If you are preparing for other MBA entrance examinations, you can just cover that. Okay, that should be sufficient. So you do not need to score very high in GPA, but yes, some decent score in GK would give you a call from XLRI. Okay. Now, if we talk about the sources of preparation for VARC, I would say that VALR, actually they call it verbal ability and logical reasoning. That logical reasoning consists of critical reasoning. It will not be like the reasoning of CAT. If you have access to some GMAT material, okay, GMAT material, LSAT material, okay, LSAT is a very good source. You can refer to passages. There you can solve their passages. You can solve their critical reasoning questions. Okay, that will be good enough. And if we talk about past JAT papers, you have access to those as well. So if you, there is no dearth of material. You need to be sincere about it. Okay, you need to put serious efforts in solving those. If we talk about the decision making section, there are past ZAT papers. I would say that enroll in a reliable crash course, because this is something maybe you get the questions, right? You will get questions, but you won't know how to solve those questions. Okay, so I would recommend that you join some reliable crash course where there are some good mentors. Okay, I'm not saying that you should enroll in Gradeup only, but any good mentor if you get who can mentor you for this section, who have mentored people in the past, because this is something that, see, quant and all you can do by reading and you can understand those, right? But what is the ideology behind solving those decision making questions, how to approach those questions? That is something which is you won't get much, right? If you try on your own, maybe you might be able to get few right, but you won't be getting that high accuracy. So in order to build that accuracy level, how to get those questions right, I would recommend that you can join some reliable crash course. Plus, I'll give you some more source, right? So if you talk about the CSAT, Civil Services Test, okay, from 2011 to 2014, they used to have 8 questions on DM. Okay, so you have 8 into 4, 32 questions of that as well. Okay, those 32 questions, I mean, maybe 32 is not a big number, but still that's a number, right? So you get some questions of decision making. So you can refer to those papers. If you get those papers, I mean, obviously you will get those because CSAT papers are available, Civil Services Aptitude Test. 32 questions. See those questions, you will get an idea what type of questions are asked, right? So past papers plus these CSAT papers, so every year, like you have 26 questions. If you get access to 200 odd questions, that would be a sufficient measure to tell you what type of questions can be asked, right? Plus, if you want mentorship, then of course you should enroll in some course. And there are many institutes that offer crash course for XAT decision making because that is a unique section. And I mean, 1 month of coaching would be sufficient for that. Okay, Quant and DI. Okay, Quant and DI. If we talk about that, past year papers of XAT, CAT, IFT, because IFT also is of good level, right? You see long questions. If I talk about CAT, I am not talking those one-liner questions, right? The good questions of CAT Quant. So mostly you will get in XAT papers, IFT papers, and some questions from CAT as well. The ones who are the challenging ones, not the ones which are one-liners like they asked this time, that 50,000 on total and like 70. Like 10% profit on one, I mean, some question like that, very straightforward questions, not those straightforward questions. Okay. So main topics in quant, I would say that these are your geometry, algebra and arithmetic. Last year it was dominated by geometry. We have seen that good number of questions from geometry, algebra and arithmetic. So around, like you get around 14 to 15 questions from these itself. Okay, and you have around 2 DI sets, 7 to 8 questions. Okay. Okay, so these are the cutoffs for XLRI. Okay, the sectional cutoffs. Okay, I mean the sectional as well as overall cutoffs in terms of percentile, right? So they give you the percentile scores. Okay, and like you can see that this is for the BM course. Okay, so they have BM and HRM. So this is the flagship program, and overall cutoff for male candidates is so slight advantage to female candidates. The male candidates get an overall at 95 percentile, they get a call. Okay, and VALR, you see the sectional cutoffs are quite low. Okay, so don't worry if you get like some 6-7 odd marks in a particular section. Okay, and that would be a great thing, right? So yes, if you got 17, that's a very, very good score, right? 20 out of 21, if you are getting 17 marks, that's very good. If you still want to improve, just see that the questions which you did not get right, and I mean, try to figure out what were the shortcomings. Okay, so generally a score of 10 to 12 per section is a very, very good score. Okay, so if you get more than that, that is really great. Okay. So sectional cutoffs are not very high. You can see that VALR, DM. So getting a call is not very difficult, but cracking the examination is not an easy task, right? So even if you are an average in 2 of the sections and really good in 1 of the sections, you can scale your score. Okay. See, 100 percentiler is always an outlier. Maybe there is some very good person who can score in 50s. Okay. Let's say someone scores 55, okay, a very good score, or 57. On the other hand, it could be 49, 50 also. So that 100 percentile is never a good measure. Okay, so like around 35, you get 99 percentile. Okay, so very low score. I mean, even at 29, 30, you get cut off, you get a call. Okay. Now these are the cutoffs for HRM, slightly low than your BM, so 2 percentile below that. So for male at 93 and female at 91. and VALR you have around 79, DM at 73, QA at 75. So QA cutoffs are lower for HRM profiles. Okay. XLRI does not pay attention to all those things, academics and also it is entirely XAT based, and then you have your interviews there. Okay. The GD VAT PI process. Okay. So this was for XAT 2020. The cutoffs are similar, percentile wise, might fluctuate by 1% or something. Okay. Like they convert, if you get around 35, like if you target 35 plus, then your conversion chances are very high because your XAT score has a high weight. Okay. I mean, around that score, you have very good chance of conversion if you manage to get 35 plus. So half of the paper is a very good score. Okay, so these are the cutoffs for XAT. So Gradeup has courses for your MBA examinations, including XAT decision making course. So if you are looking for this particular course, you may enroll with Gradeup Super. You can buy the subscription for the least duration, which is 3 months, under which you can also prepare yourself for IFT, TestNet, CMAT, etc. We have these courses running. XAT 2021 decision making, GK and current affairs. So if you are preparing for IFT, TestNet, multiple examinations, you can enroll in the courses. I hope you know that you don't have to subscribe to different courses. I mean, if you get that subscription, you can enroll, attend the classes of all the courses. Okay, so we are also running course for GD, VAT, and PI, which is the next stage for your admissions. Okay. Okay, so yes, you say that 30 questions, accuracy 80. So how do you know your accuracy, by the way? So you should be able to get around 85 to 88 percentile. That should be your score. 85 to between 85 and 90. Okay, and maybe even in higher. Okay, so we have these courses for different MBA examinations, and if you are preparing for CAT 2021, if you have done this, okay, and you can if you are preparing for CAT 2021, we have course for that as well, and for this you need to subscribe to Gradeup Super. With this, you get access to all our courses. Be it for like CAT or XAT or any other course, if you want to enroll in, you can take that subscription. Okay. So Ayush has a query that previous year questions are mentioned in supplement. Yes, previous year, yes, they are sufficient, but I mean it's good to have extra practice as well, right? I mean, previous year is sometimes what happens is you get biased. You have solutions available, so you see the solution first and then start solving. So yes, I mean, I'm not saying that that is not sufficient, but yes, if you get extra material also, that's good. Okay, and if we talk about XAT preparation, yes. So we have XAT specific preparation as well. Okay, so we have courses for this. Which will include XAT decision making and XAT quant and all three sections, in fact, right? Special course for XAT decision making plus courses for XAT and other examinations. Okay, Samin says that quant and DIL are all right, maybe do not know verbal, what to expect. Okay, so quant and DIR, I am assuming 13 plus 11, 24, right? Okay, so I'll just assume that you get 80% accuracy in verbal. Net of 37 questions. That should bring you around 99 percentile. Okay, keep your fingers crossed if you get a good accuracy. Okay. So these are our mentors at Gradeup. I'm sure you know them, most of them, and you must have seen them on Gradeup app. And you must have they teach in Gradeup, and all of them have scored heavily in these examinations. So Vikas sir, he scored 99.998 percentile in. I mean that was you can consider rank two in XAT 2020. Okay. And other mentors, even Jatin, he scored 99.95 percentile in XAT also. XAT 2020 also he had the same percentile, 99.995. Okay. Even I had 99.7 percentile in XAT Quant. Okay. I mean, I'm not a great like these people. Okay. And then you have Savitri ma'am, who is an expert in your XAT decision making. We have Sanojam sir. Okay, he's also an expert. He has scored above 99.5 percentile in XAT decision making section on multiple occasions. Okay, so we have all star faculties who have mentored several students over the years. Okay, and they are at your help for not only that, for other courses as well. Okay. Okay, so Ayush is saying previous year questions are mentioned. Yes, that should be fine, right? So if you think that yes, if you get those questions, that should be good enough for practice. Okay. All right, so we have some more stars. I mean, Saran, I mean, if you have watched him, then as his name says, Saral, he makes every topic Saral, right? Like if you watch his videos, you will realize that how he teaches in a very simplified form. Okay. So again, a great mentor. So I think you cannot get a better team for so you cannot get a better team for CAT and other MBA exams at a single platform. So if you are preparing for any of the MBA examinations and looking for some good mentorship, okay, so you can subscribe to our Gradeup Super subscription and get access to all our courses. Okay. So all the best with your preparation. So I guided you some strategies that you need to keep in mind, what to do, what not to do. Okay. So don't take decision making serious. I mean lightly. I mean you have to be very particular about it, and slightly more preparation required than CAT. So if you have I mean done good in quant and verbal for CAT. Okay. So if you have see, in quant section, I'll tell you that the DI portion won't be a difficult thing for you if you have done really well. Okay. And for verbal, of course, you will need extra practice. Okay. Plus some critical reasoning as well. And decision making is something that is the X factor that builds or breaks scores. Okay. So I would recommend that solve questions from past years. I told you another source, CSAT papers. Plus, if you want to enroll, you can enroll in some course. Okay, just a 1 month course for decision making, and if you are really serious about this institute, right? So all the best with your preparation, and we'll be taking some sections. I think Savitri ma'am must have taken a session on XAT decision making as well, a brief intro to it and how to crack all those examinations. Some free sessions, and as well as we'll have a course as well. Okay. So enough motivation given to you. The facts stated. All the best. It's your turn to give your effort. Okay, we can just guide you. It's your role to put on your sincere efforts. And if you have any issues, we are here to assist you. Okay. A good number of attempts for VARC. I would say that even if you attempt around 15 questions with 80% accuracy, you will get around 99 percentile. Okay, 15 questions out of 26 with 80% accuracy. Okay, so that is the difficulty level, right? So people don't score very high in that. So even if you are moderately good in two of the sections, score very high in the third, you can make it. Okay, but if you first see the papers and then you will see that how good you are at each of these subjects. Okay, so thank you guys for being attentive to this session. I hope I was able to impart some knowledge about that, how to prepare and how to strategize your preparation, what are the sources, etc. So, have a great day. Goodbye.